بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Let's talk about the Bible, okay?
Sure. I don't believe either, by the way.
You don't believe in the Bible?
I don't think there's any God.
Okay, you don't believe in God at all?
No.
Okay, so
That's
the scientific miracles, the linguistic miracles, the mathematical miracles, the historic evidence, if you put all of that together,
Sure.
I believe an illiterate man in a desert that had no access to such knowledge, that had never been to an ocean, would not know that there are waves underneath the ocean, that would not know that sweet water and salt water.
Yeah.
Those things that the Arabs didn't know, that they disputed about, but they came to be true.
Okay.
This shows the miraculous nature of this. When you talk about an extraordinary evidence, we have already agreed that there are linguistic miracles, there are scientific miracles. Okay, scientific miracles, you said I'll give you that.
No, I granted that for the sake of the argument.
Look, we're not here to debate. If you granted it, that means it's been granted. That means we've established it. Okay. You said you will grant us that there are scientific miracles.
For the sake of the argument, yes.
Okay, so we are saying that.
I don't believe that there are.
I don't see it that way, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just asking.
Okay.
Because I asked him a
So let me ask you a question. So there's a man who's illiterate. A man who's illiterate.
Okay.
Unable to read or write.
Okay. Illiterate.
Historic evidence.
What's the,
Right?
what's the evidence?
Every first-hand source, the people that were there said he was illiterate.
If you tell me something that's
No. So people that are there that physically see him, what is that? That's first-hand, right?
No, first-hand is when you testify.
So those people that testify.
Or second-hand.
Okay. So if I go to court and I testify, am I first-hand?
If you're testifying what you observed, that's still second-hand testimony.
So the
First-hand is the person who actually committed the act.
Exactly. So those people that were actually there,
Sure.
that spoke to the person, that were committing that act of communication,
Okay.
they were first-hand reports, right? They were the ones speaking to the Prophet.
It's still second-hand, but...
Okay, so let's go with second-hand.
Sure.
So those people that met the Prophet Muhammad historically, that documented about him across the board with consensus, without any exceptions,
Sure.
historically said he was unable to read or write.
Okay.
Okay, so we good there?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm following you so far.
Good. So you have somebody who's unable to read or write, right? Never wrote a poem. He was not a poet.
So he wrote this book that's...
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. تكلم عربي؟
Lebanese.
أنا لبنانك ما شاء الله.
I prefer English. I'm stronger in English and Spanish.
تستطيع أتكلم بالفصحى ولا أمية؟
I'm much more comfortable in English.
No, but you read the Quran in Arabic, so I'm just trying to see if you understand Fusha. You know
I can
Arabic.
recite it. I read it better in English.
No.
But I understand the poetry.
So let me explain something. You're Lebanese, I'm Pakistani, right?
Hello.
Arabic's not my language. Okay.
Urdu, I'm assuming.
Pashto, Urdu, yes.
Yeah.
But I learned Arabic, but the
Quran.
classic Arabic.
Sure.
And there's a difference between Ammiya, what most people speak, and Fusha, right?
Oh, you're talking about the Quranic or literature Arabic.
Excellent.
Sure, I get that.
So when you read the Arabic and Quran,
It's beautiful.
it's
Yes.
beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So a man named Muhammad, who could not read or write, had no idea about scientific research, because Arabs at that time had no idea.
That's a stretch.
Sure, how is that a stretch? Were Arabs known for scientific research?
I was about to go into the topic of the fetus looking like a chew piece of gum.
Sure, I mean, before we go
These are
there,
observable facts
sure,
of the universe.
really? So how would a prophet...
You don't think they had miscarriages in the...
Hold on. Let me get there.
Sure.
Let me get there. When the Quran talks about the development of the fetus inside the womb, how would the Prophet Muhammad have known about those stages?
Miscarriages. I mean, that's
Miscarriage doesn't develop, it comes out.
No, you don't understand a miscarriage. A miscarriage
I think I do understand what a miscarriage is.
Huh?
When you have a miscarriage, a child that's in the womb exits the womb prematurely.
Sure.
You don't see the development of that
Of
child.
course you can, because not every miscarriage is the same stage of development.
So you're saying that the Prophet Muhammad watched...
My ex-wife had a miscarriage at almost 6 months.
Okay, but
So it was-
from
it was
that...
pretty,
okay,
it was,
so
it was
let me...
About, I have pictures of it if you'd like to see it.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so it was about 5 inches long.
Got it.
And looked like a really, really, really tiny baby.
Got it, perfect, okay.
Now, some miscarriages happen within 2 months of pregnancy.
So are you saying the Prophet Muhammad looked at a series of miscarriages?
He could
To
have. Assume that it was a miraculous implantation.
Okay, so let me. How would he know at what stages does the baby develop? A miscarriage is going to...
Math is not hard.
Math is not hard for a man in Arabia without any...
You're underestimating
wait.
capacity to understand
Look, if I'm going to listen to you, you listen to me. That's the way you're going to have a conversation. Sure. So if you have something to say, I'll be quiet. Okay? Do you have something to say first?
Okay.
Do you have...
I was going to say, I mean,
go ahead.
I think obviously... I mean, we understand. It wasn't until the 18th century that we finally understood that it takes 9 months to gestate a child, right? So,
thank you.
No, I'm saying it wasn't until then.
Yes, you're right.
So
but the Quran discusses that.
It's quite possible that at that time, for all religions, for all people, they understood it takes roughly 9 months. They probably understood how many months or how many days or however moons they counted after a woman had menstruated the last time. Okay, so it's been about a month. You're probably pregnant. I don't think it's an impossible feat for them to calculate.
I'm listening.
The gestation of the fetus
to
determine if it miscarries at, let's say, 2 months. This looks about this size.
Sure.
May not be an exact, may an approximation, but I don't think it's miraculous.
I'm just listening right now. So, anything else you want to say first?
On that subject, no.
Okay. Can I speak now?
Sure.
Without being interrupted? Thank you. So, if we talk about a miscarriage, if you're like a midwife, maybe you see a lot of those. As a regular person, I'm sure you saw one, I'm assuming. You don't see a couple.
I used to be a preacher.
Sure, you used to be a preacher, so you've seen a couple. But you don't see them like every day in different stages. And that's not going to tell you how the flesh goes around the bone, how the fetus develops, unless that's all you're doing as research, right? But that's just only, okay, sure. But that's not it. That's not just the only miracle, right? There are so many scientific facts. For example, the waves that are underneath the ocean, right?
That's easy to observe too.
How? You would have to go to.
Go
ahead. I'm listening. Excellent. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, never went to the ocean.
No exposure to people who did.
Nope.
He had never met somebody who'd been on the sea.
Look. He himself had never dived or been to an ocean. Okay. At the time, the Arabs were not snorkelers. Okay. No, wait. Let me. Okay, we got all the miracles. We granted it. Okay, good.
I'm going to grant you all the not the miracles. I'm going to grant you all the claims.
Well, you just said miracles. Now you're going to change it.
I don't believe in miracles.
Okay. Well, you're a preacher. You don't believe in miracles.
All the supernatural claims.
Okay.
How do you know that? Because of God.
Excellent. If a man who is illiterate brings forth a literary work that the Arabs could not match, all of the poets, right?
Granted.
All Arabic grammar goes back today to the Quran. Nahw and sarf and all that. You agree?
I grant that too.
Excellent. And it has scientific miracles.
Let's grant that too.
And it talks about the solar system and everything in balance. You grab all of it. Okay, we're getting there, right?
I don't actually believe this, but I'm granting it for the argument.
Well, if you're granting it, then here we're going to say that it stands, right?
Yeah.
Then we say that there has to be a explanation for this, right?
Okay.
So the Quran itself explains that. It explains that this is not the words of Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? Rather, please, go ahead. Rather, this is a divine message. Even when you look at the story of Joseph in the Quran, one of the Jewish rabbis objected, why was Joseph in, why was Musa in Egypt? And the Arabs, the people of Mecca, they couldn't answer that until the Quran revealed Sa'ilun, the people who had su'al, to explain to them how these things happen.
Okay, how do you know that the
Hold on, I'm getting this. Yeah, I listened to you, right? Remember the rules, right? Thank you. So, if it was just one scientific miracle, we could have said it's a guess. Okay? We could have said it's a coincidence. But when you match things like the splitting of the moon, which was not just documented by people who were there, but if you look at the literature, historic literature, it was documented by Hindus in India. Right? I can send you all the references if you like. I taught this. Sure.
Hold on, because you made a huge claim that requires some kind of intervention.
All right, can I finish and then I'll let you finish? I'll let you interrupt me. Go ahead.
You're trying to confirm a miracle in the Quran with a miracle from a book you say mostly is not true.
I'm sorry?
You're trying to confirm a miracle in the Quran with something you say is observed in text of a culture whose religion you also say is false.
We're talking about historic documentation, not religious text.
What's the difference at that point?
Sure, there's a difference. One is religious texts that talk about Hanuman or Sita or Ram or those things that have no historic references. One is a king in India that we can refer to, not time, place, and all of that, saying he observed something in a book of history, not a religious
But
belief.
did he also make supernatural claims in that same text?
No, it's a historic text. No, that was a king. It wasn't a religious figure.
Because there's also a text in the Mayan calendar that says that, for example, the Earth started with turtles.
Yeah, so
Okay, what does that have to do with anything?
So it has historical documentation.
That, no, wait, I'm sorry. It's a claim of something they saw, or is that they saw?
Ancestors saw this.
Okay,
The
so
question then becomes,
wait. So can I? This is why I wanted to finish, because I wasn't done with. It's not just there. It's not just the Mayan. It's not just the Hindu. The people that were physically there, that saw the splitting of the moon, those ahadith are recorded, checked for authenticity, who said it, when they said it, right?
Okay.
And it's also accompanied and supported by people that were not physically in the same geographical location. So what I'm saying is, once you get the scientific miracle, which you've granted us, and then you've got the linguistic miracles, then you've got, for example, I'm sorry.
I'm still lost on it.
I'm
Why
sorry?
is it a miracle? How is it a linguistic miracle?
Excellent. So when you look at the Quran, what's called balagha, if you've studied Arabic,
Continue.
have you studied Arabic?
Continue.
All right, that's a question, so I can continue.
I don't know.
Have you studied Arabic? Yes or no?
know.
You don't know if you studied Arabic.
Please continue.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Look, I'm trying to have a civil conversation,
Then I have to get
but
Arabic.
the reason I'm asking is because if you have, then I can explain things to you with the essence of balagha, and if you haven't, then I have to explain that. So the question is very simple. Have
Here's
you?
my answer then. Here's my answer.
Okay.
It's a pretty pathetic God who
Okay.
requires that everybody speak a particular language to
Okay.
understand a miracle.
I'm not sure who requires everybody to speak Arabic. Nobody.
So you're saying, it sounds like you're suggesting that the miracle is only observable if
No.
I understand Arabic
Nope,
is a language.
I did not say that. Please do not insert words into my mouth. Let me explain something. You asked me about the linguistic miracle.
Sure. And you started to go about
In-
Arabic and then I studied it.
Again, I'm speaking and you're interrupting.
Well, I'm trying to clarify.
I know, but remember when you were speaking and I didn't interrupt you to clarify? So if I'm speaking, please, if we have respect, then we can have a conversation, right? Okay. So when we talk about the scientific miracles, that has nothing to do with language. Okay? We've already granted that. So you don't have to speak Arabic to know the miracle of the Quran. But when you ask the linguistic miracles, then I have to ask you about Arabic, because inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyya. Quran was revealed in the Arabic language.
So what?
So the linguistics of the Quran have to be in Arabic, because that's the language it was revealed in. Okay? So for example, if you talk about the beauty of Shakespeare, you will not understand it in Chinese. You'll have to be explained. You'll have to learn English to understand that. If you want to know the beauty of Spanish poetry, when you translate it, it's difficult. Yeah, no, there isn't, because
Shakespeare's not claiming to be the
I'm going to let you speak then. Then you let me
If you're
speak.
not going, so an intershade also requires clarification.
Sure, but if you keep interrupting, then I can't make a point,
Can you
right?
make fallacious points?
Okay, then let me finish, and then you can refute it.
Listen.
No, because
It sounds
see,
like
now you're getting upset because I'm showing you evidences.
No, you're not.
Look,
That's
the scientific miracles, the linguistic miracles, the mathematical miracles, the historic evidence. If you put all of that together,
Sure.
I believe an illiterate man in a desert that had no access to such knowledge, that had never been to an ocean, would not know that there are waves underneath the ocean. That would not know that sweet water
all that.
and salt water.
Yeah.
Those things that the Arabs didn't know, that they disputed about, but they came to be true.
Okay.
This shows the miraculous nature of this book. This is the word of Allah. That's what I believe. You have an option to believe it or not.
It's unlikely to mean that it's divine.
Why not? How do you explain it then?
So that's what we call, that's a logical fallacy. It's called the argumentum ad ignorantum. I have no other explanation, therefore I'm going to accept this claim.
That's not true, because the claim is in the Quran itself.
So the Quran is true because the Quran says it's true?
The Quran is true because it tells you it's true, and scientifically, can I finish now? Okay, so let's talk about the Bible, okay?
Sure. I don't believe either, by the way.
You don't believe in the Bible?
I don't think there's any God.
Okay, you don't believe in God at all?
No.
Okay, so explain to me where we came from.
So this is another fallacy.
Okay, that we didn't come from anywhere?
I'm not saying that. What
Okay.
I'm saying is, because I don't have an explanation, does
Okay,
not make yours any likely.
so you do admit that you don't have an explanation?
I think we have a pretty good idea, but again,
You do, so what is it?
here's my explanation.
Okay, I'm listening.
Let's say I didn't have any answers.
Okay,
that does not resolve you. I'm sorry, that does not absolve you of the responsibility to provide empirical evidence for
Sure.
your explanation.
Okay,
So you're providing so far logical fallacies to buttress your argument. However, you have not. You said you wanted.
I'm listening.
Right. So let's say I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even know who my mother or father are. Right. That does not mean that if you say, well, you're here because pixies had sex and they had like rainbow sperm, and now you're here because you're a big old gay person, right? I am no more inclined to believe that argument than yours, because I would first require empirical evidence. Now, a confluence of coincidences does not equal evidence. So you're saying, we're assuming, of course, that all the things recorded in the Quran are true, right? So
sure, we've already agreed to that. So
the Quran says it's true because it's true. Well, if I read a book that says it's true because this book is true and therefore the sky is actually purple. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I could also, again, make 8 more claims in that.
I'm just
book.
listening.
Sure. So to say that I don't have an answer, it makes your answer by default correct, is also fallacious. Because then the person who's never met a Muslim but has met now a Christian, well, they don't have any other explanation, but the Christian now has Genesis, right? So that make Genesis true? Of course not. The claim, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. When you're making
I'm just listening right now.
When you make a claim that everything was created, that's an extraordinary claim, because we have no evidence of things being created.
You're done speaking?
Yeah.
Thank you. When you talk about an extraordinary evidence, we have already agreed that there are linguistic miracles, there are scientific miracles. Okay, scientific miracles, you said I'll give you that.
No, I grant that for the sake of the argument.
Look, we're not here to debate. If you granted it, that means it's been granted. That means we've established it. Okay. You said you will grant us that there are scientific miracles.
For the sake of the argument, yes.
Okay, so we are saying that
I don't believe that
you can believe whatever you like, okay? But if there are scientific miracles, for the sake of the argument, you've granted it, so you can't go back now.
No, I'm not granting it. What I'm saying is I'm allowing.
Okay, so if you allow me, then let me continue. You see how I listen to you and you're interrupting me the whole time now, right?
You guys just sound like
No.
you can't make a continuous argument.
Look,
I think you're banking on the fact that
I'm just listening to you, and you're not letting me refute, because when I start to refute and you realize I'm right, then you corrupt me. Then you interrupt
Are you saying
me.
I'm being dishonest?
Yes, you are, in a way.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
This is people think Allah is God.
How you doing?
God in Arabic.
Yeah, a little better.
Oh, yeah, you been sick or?
Yeah, I fell on my heart
Oh no.
on the ground.
Sorry to hear that, man.
I'm all right. Get something.
Sure.
Yeah, this is if you're gonna get anything.
Just something
Just take small, yeah. There you go.
I'm a
Pocket
fat
size?
back,
There you
so-
go.
There you go,
Sure
man.
thing. Thank you.
Read up.
Welcome.
Let us know if you have any questions. We're here.
All right.
Hope
Thank
you feel
you.
better.